So I was prepping for tomorrow's video, and I was sitting here and thinking, what I'm doing right now, just preparing for tomorrow's ruck. This in itself is valuable information, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to actually sit down and record this and show you how to pack your rucksack. Tomorrow's video will be what's in the rucksack, but for now I'm going to show you how to put the shit in here. I've had this specific rucksack for the past 6 months or so. I'll put the Amazon link of it in the video description. But actually, yeah, let me just get into this shit on how to pack your rucksack. So mostly that's all of this shit right here, minus a few things here and there. But pretty much all of what I'm doing is all this shit right here. It seems like a lot, but usually I feel like I underpack. And there's a few things to be said about that. What if you're looking at this right now and you're saying, hey, I don't see this, or hey, why don't you have that? Every time you're packing your rucksack, it's, pack it for what you're doing. Don't bring unnecessary shit. Don't bring unnecessary weight. If you're seeing something here that's missing that you think is valuable for what I'm doing, I welcome that, but keep in mind, everything that I'm bringing with me is stuff that I deem is necessary. Maybe not fucking two of those things, but that is the number one talking point I can bring up. Only bring things that are necessary for what you're doing. I'm doing a couple hours bushcrafting trip, so I'm not going to be packing a ton of extra clothes and an excess amount of food. Just bare minimum shit for a couple hours out in the woods. And the first talking point to be said about that is, how am I gonna all right, hang on. The first, or I guess second talking point on how to actually pack your ruck is you need to keep in mind your balance and the order of things and the ease of access. So at the very bottom, you're going to want to put your biggest, heaviest things, or more, actually no, fuck that. At the bottom, you're going to be putting a soft liner at the bottom. So that would be maybe a spare tarp, sleeping bag, maybe even some spare clothes. But make sure all of that is waterproofed. The biggest thing of anything, all of your warm liners, please make sure you put an extra trash bag or something similar around them. Please waterproof your sleeping bag. But the first thing right here, sleeping bag. So shove your sleeping bag down in the bottom. And when I say the heaviest things at the bottom, yes, but make sure the heaviest things are closest to your back. You don't want your heavy items all out back here, then your ruck will be all flying around and it'll be fucking up your shoulders more than they would have to be. There's never ever going to be a comfortable ruck. They're all gonna fucking suck. But that's the part about what makes them fun, okay? So make sure all your heavy shit is heavy shit and stuff you're not accessing a lot. I should say that too. Stuff you're not getting out a lot, have it at the bottom. So in my case, that would be my sleeping bag. And then from here, I would have some spare clothes. I'd put them maybe down here, but I don't have any spare clothes. I don't need any spare clothes for what I'm doing. So next I'll put in my poncho. And the word of advice about your poncho, if it's gonna rain or you think it's gonna rain, don't put it at the bottom. There is 0% chance of rain for the next week and a half where I'm at, so the poncho can stay down there. It's filling out my bag a little more, so it can stay at the bottom. Make sure everything is in there nice and tight, okay? All right, so the bottom, I'd say the bottom is pretty well filled out. Would you agree? Yes, okay. And then from there, we're gonna be building up the core. So same concept, building up the core, but we're gonna be putting all of our heavier things closest to our back. We don't want any of our heavy shit closest to our back and being balanced out. We don't want all of our heavy shit on one side here close to our back. We want to have it evenly dispersed across the width of our back, okay? So in my case, some of my heavier things would probably be, my spare boots. In your case, the core of the pack would be a great place to maybe put some radio batteries, maybe your water bladder, camelback, maybe some food. Maybe you can put some food in here. But just your heavier things, put them on this cushion that you've made down here. So it's kind of softening the blows as you're fucking going up down hills and jumping around and shit. Just try it, okay? And you'll have a easier time. And also, actually, never mind. I thought I had the left side on the wrong side. And then from there, actually, do I have anything really else? Actually, yes, I do. So I have a bunch of hand warmers and spare shit in there. I can go right about there. What else do I got here? This is actually a neat little thing I can show you. Yeah, this is just a middle canteen. I like to actually have boiled shit in here. And then it has its own thermos cup that I can use for boiling. But since it's not winter anymore, you know, it's not really hot drink season. So that kind of stays here back at home, honestly. But I would say for what I have out here, there's like some shit hiding back here. Yeah, my core is built out pretty well. Usually I also, a lot of my kits kind of moved around. I've moved my gun cleaning, what used to be my old gun cleaning bag, onto my plate carrier. But yeah, so I'd say for, actually no. This will be a great place to have some of my camera recording equipment. For the sake of this video, I don't fucking need this, but just for the sake of the video and filling out the pack more, why not? And then, you know what? I have some space right here, so I'm kind of just fucking freestyling shit just to fill it out a little bit. Actually, no, since we're getting there, we'll just move on to that. So now the core is pretty filled out, okay? At the top of the pack, let's rewind a little bit. The bottom is for our heavier and items we don't use a lot. The core, items just to fill out the bulk, just shit that we don't use enough to have it at the top of the pack. And the top of the pack is stuff that we're using the most, okay? In that case, that would be food, electrical equipment. Since I will want to have this readily available, I'd probably have my IFAK up here. But I actually like to have my IFAK in here. But since there's a nice spot right here for it, might as well put it there. I also like to have a couple of flares in here as well. So at the top, just put your readily accessible shit up here. You could also, a good thing to put up here would be your tarp, not your tarp, your poncho. I put my poncho at the very bottom though, but I needed to fill out the pack a little bit, just for balance sake. So if I had a spare, if that was a spare poncho or maybe that was bag of clothes, that would have been fine. But putting a poncho up here or even spare clothes would be great as well. You do not want to get water all over you. Water adds weight, and that shit adds up. I swear, a wet pack weighs so much more than a dry one. It's crazy, but I'd say the top is, I don't really need a lot of shit, honestly. Like, actually, yeah, okay. So for here, I'm going to put all of my maps, note-taking, a couple spare hand warmers. It's going to be like fucking 80 tomorrow or some shit, but, you know, just throw it in there. And, yeah, so I'll put my note-taking shit in here, some maps, thermal compass, navigation shit in there, and then, yeah. So that is the top of the pack. And then from this part, we're going to be adding items that we use a good amount. Okay, so I'm doing some bushcrafting stuff. So in this pocket over here, I'm going to be putting my faithful bushcrafting knife, and then my folding saw, which is over here. And then some, what's on some spare paracord over here. That's primarily what I use for most of my shelters whenever I'm building one. Okay. And then this pouch, this is kind of just whatever. I sometimes put, when it's colder, I have a big ass bag of hand warmers in here, or like camera equipment. But for in here, since I'm going to add an e-tool. And yeah, so this is pretty much just my rotating stock. I'll put some spare bootlaces in here. Maybe I'll fucking need them. This pouch right here is just rotating. Whatever I'm doing for that day, I'm dedicating this entire pouch to. So whether it be camera equipment, maybe a spare MRE in here, just whatever. So finally, actually, I'll throw some ammo in there as well. I usually like to have a couple extra mags on me. And this is another talking point, which is I'll mention it briefly now, but this is a talking point for tomorrow. Whether you're having a plate carrier, or you're having a rucksack, or maybe even a belt, or maybe like one of those Russian Smurf fucking kits, just across all of your items, make sure you have a bit of survivability across all of them. So here I would like to have some fire starting equipment, some hydration, some medical. Same here, hydration. I have some fire starting, fucking ammo, medical. Across all of your gear equipment, make sure you have a little bit of everything, so in case you're separated from one or the other, you're not totally fucked. But that's why I have some ammo in here. Typically ammo goes on the plate carrier, but you know, refer back to what I just said. Now for this one, I actually like to have like my food or fire, food shit. Okay, so big ass bag of tea. You know, tea is tea. Can't get enough of it. Same principle here. Put shit you use the least at the bottom. I'm not using that tea a lot. And plus, to even use that tea, I have to take this out of here in the first place. So, tea is going in the bottom. This thing's kind of a pain in the ass getting in there. Oh, that's why. There we go. So, my little canteen cup. Some silverware. Actually, I like to have this in the cup itself, but because I'm worried I might like hit a rock or some shit and these things fucking snap. But today I'm actually gonna tuck them right there. There we go. And then I'll put some spare batteries. This thing's actually pretty cool. Found this at Walmart. It's like a battery bank, but it's solar charging. And it's also flashlight. Oh fuck. And it has two modes, so it's like this really like wide ass LED mode, and then like both, and then the longer fucking one. But this thing's really cool. I mean, it's basically infinite flashlight because it's solar powered, but pretty cool. And it's also wireless charging too. Fuck. That would go in there. And then that is that for this pouch. And then all my smaller miscellaneous tools and ear pro, some knife sharpening, some space blankets, fuck ton of fire starting. That will go in your smaller pouches, which will be up here. So I like to have, in some situations it's very important to be seen at night, and some it's not. So bring your old PT belt with you. Sometimes you actually do need to be seen at night. And then Put face paint, face camo, lighter, and then some electrical tape here. Okay, and then I'll put Ear Pro. Actually, these knife sharpeners are shit, but I actually really like them. This one specifically. It's literally a piece of junk, but I actually like it a lot. And then these are just extra. You know what, for a ride, you can come with me. Maybe my lighter gets wet. I guess that's another talking point. Have multiple sources of ignition, because one of them might fail. So bring a backup lighters and a ferro rod and other ways, you know, to light the fire, because you never know what's gonna happen out there. Let me revert back to my other talking point that I was trying to make earlier, but I didn't realize, you know, this can be as tight as you want, but it's not really gonna fucking change. But alright, and as of actually loading this thing up, this is the most important part. And I didn't really check it throughout, but as you're loading your ruck, make sure it's nice and evened out. You did a great job of doing that, because I've been doing this for a second, so I kind of can get a feel for it. But if you're if you're fucking packing a very big ruck, you might even want to sit on this thing at the very end just to squeeze all everything down. But I'm only going out for a few hours, so I'm not too worried about it. At this point, make sure it's all evened out. Uneven ruck is not fun. But this is the most important part. Make sure this thing is fucking strapped down. You want this as tight as it can physically go. Don't worry, you're not gonna fucking break it. You know, these is what they're meant to do. They're meant to be fucking strapped down like this. Make sure. Okay. Alright. And turn it around. I like to dig my heel or my fucking knees right into the top of this little bar right here. Okay. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Battery died, so, and if you remember or not, my camera equipment is in this fucking bag. So, let's just finish this video. Alright, strap down. There we go. That is how to pack your fucking rug. Pretty simple, right? What is that? Nothing. Alright. Okay, that is how you pack your rucksack. More tomorrow.